If you guys do need any grinding services done that are fast and reliable, hit up my guy Cliff2_3 on Twitter. Domination Reward, James Harden, MyTEAM Unlimited, Grant Hill, Clutch Time, Chris Webber, or even endgame point guard Jokic. Again, hit up Cliff2_3 on Twitter. It's your boy Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be ranking all of the endgame and invincible cards in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. And yes, guys, there's a lot of cards here. It's not like we're just ranking a couple of cards. There's like 90 to 100 cards here on this list. Another nice part about it is there's a lot of duplicates, so it's not going to take too long to get through. For, at AD, there's 3 cards. It's going to be relatively quick to rank each and every one of them. So, stay tuned. We're going to have a breakdown of each and every one of them. And as we dive into it, guys, if you are new to the channel and have not yet, man, make sure to smash that subscribe button as we're on the road towards 110,000 subscribers. We're going to start it off with the lowest version or the worst tier of cards and then work our way to the top. Now, Invincible Anthony Davis, he's not very good. This Invincible Anthony Davis is not very good. And this Invincible Anthony Davis is going in the same spot. We'll say the AD on the right, the New Orleans Pelicans AD, I do think is a little bit better. Endgame Anthony Davis, I probably would go B tier. A lot of the reason he's in B tier is because the power forward position is not great. It's just okay, I would say, right now. And so Anthony Davis endgame is okay. He's got set shot 25. He can move pretty well. He can do some things. Invincible Anthony Davis is horrible. Is he the worst card on this list? Probably not. He's definitely not. He's got to go D tier. I mean, if you grinded level 44 Anthony Edwards, you got an okay card at max. He's just not great in my team. Now we got all of our Bens, okay? Invincible Ben right here, probably C tier. That's the first Ben we got. This Invincible Ben is just a little bit better. If you want to, break down what's the difference in the two Ben Simmons, let's talk about it, okay? Ben Simmons and then this Ben Simmons. What's the difference? Well, it really comes down to animations. Trey size of Kobe size of, they both got normal leaners. They're pretty similar outside of, some dribble sigs. I do think this Invincible is a little bit better, but it's not enough to really change their tier. Now, Endgame Ben, I'm putting it A tier. Could you rank him S tier? Maybe. Could you rank him B tier? Probably. I think A tier is the spot, right now at least, for Endgame Ben. Even if you do want to play him at power forward, I right now got him ahead of Endgame Anthony Davis. Bill Russell, rest in peace, legend, man. I scored 100 points with you the other day, but you are still not good in my team. It's that simple. I love you. Hopefully 2K recognizes you, gives you an endgame card. Maybe a free endgame locker code would be fire for Bill. But he definitely is an F tier card where he's at right now. Cade Cunningham, look, probably C tier. I mean, is he better than Anthony Davis, Invincible, and Anthony Edwards? Probably, but he's not great. I'm putting him at C tier, right with Ben Simmons. Now, maybe you could argue Ben Simmons in B tier, and we might get there, but right now, I just don't think I'm going to be any higher on the card. Carmelo Anthony is an A tier shooting guard in my team. Is he the best shooting guard in the game? No. We'll talk about who is, but endgame Melo is really, really solid. Invincible Melo is not very good. I have him at D tier. I mean, I like Cade more than Melo. I like Ben Simmons more than Melo. I just do not see how Carmelo Anthony is anywhere higher than B tier, the invincible version of him. Chris Webber is really good. I'm not taking any Chris Webber slander. Is he higher than B tier? I don't think so. But you got to remember, B tier on the endgame invincible list is really solid, and he might get moved up to A tier. The more I've used the Chris Webber release, the more I've grown fond of it and kind of do like it in general. Next up, guys, we see Invincible Daryl Dawkins, and he's got to be right where Anthony Davis is. Now, that's not me saying Daryl Dawkins is bad, because he is very solid. It's just hard when we're talking about the best of the best, Daryl Dawkins, compared to even a Giannis at the power forward position. How am I supposed to be very high on Daryl Dawkins in general? David Robinson, I don't know, man. Is B tier too high for him? I feel like that's where he belongs. I don't love him, but his player model is fine. He's going to get you stops on the defensive end of the court. If only David Robinson wouldn't shoot full bars. The full bars that he shoots really does ruin the card in general. As we go through this, I want to sort these by position to hopefully help you guys out just that little bit when it comes down to it. Derrick Rose, Invincible card up next. Man, I don't know. I got to put him in D tier because he does move well, right? He moves well and he has a good release. I don't love Derrick Rose. And to say I don't love Derrick Rose, Devin Booker is going in the same tier. Devin Booker on current gen, I do think is a little bit better. Derrick Rose on both gens, you know, when you combine them both, probably are better. I don't love either one of them, but I do think they both definitely avoid that F tier of players. Dirk is F tier. And I know a lot of people are going to say, Ty, Invincible Dirk's not that bad. Now, why would you run Invincible Dirk if you've got Dirk? I mean, there's no reason to, because endgame Dirk is absolutely elite. All the way up to A tier. Now, if you want to put Dirk higher, I'm not going to argue with it. I just haven't played with the card enough to put him any higher than A tier. I do think he's A tier. I think the card is very good when I have played with him. I just hope they do more with, you know, we've got just so many endgame cards here. It's kind of sickening, but hopefully next year they make him just less endgame cards in general. Dominic Wilkins up next. I'm going C tier with Dominic Wilkins. You might be wondering why. Well, I prefer him to Carmelo and Anthony Edwards both at that shooting guard position. It's pretty simple, pretty easy when it comes down to it. Wilkins does have jump shot 8, which is pretty solid this year. Outside of that, he's an invincible card that gives you quite a bit on the court. Dewayne Wade. I got to throw him at C tier. And again, you guys might disagree with this, but he's going to move well. I like the Dewayne Wade release, and I think he's better than D Rose and Devin Booker, even Carmelo Anthony. Again, you guys don't have to agree with me. But the reasons I love Wade, let's start with this. D-Wade based on very quick, and he's got the Kobe size escape. Those two things you know I love. So am I biased for Dewayne Wade? Probably. But I definitely like the card in my team. LJ Baylor up next is not very good, guys. I mean, he is not very good at all. Do I think he's D tier? Probably. But let me tell you guys, LJ Baylor is not worth grinding for at all. Evan Mobley up next. I think I gotta go B tier, but it's tough. I don't think he is as good as a David Robinson. I don't think he is as good as Anthony Davis. Now, it's weird for me to say because I played Mobley over D-Rob, but looking back on it, I do think D-Rob is a better overall card, and I just don't think I can compare Evan Mobley to a guy like Anthony Davis in general. Small forward, power forward, Giannis is really good. We're gonna go B tier for him, and the only reason we're going B tier is because I'm going A tier with the point guard, Giannis, and I'm going S tier with the small forward Giannis. Now, I will say, point guard Giannis is solid as long as you've got like a Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan with him. He's solid. I mean, I run point guard Giannis on C-Mars' account, and I have a lot of success with him. I've started using jump shot 3, and I've gotten better and better with it. And the more you use it, the better you are going to be with it. I mean, I might want to move Giannis up, but I do think B tier is where he belongs. Power forward, center Giannis, still at B tier. I mean, it's simple. Is he as good as small forward, power forward Giannis? I mean, doesn't have small forward eligibility, so probably not. Grant Hill up next. We're going to see our, right here with Dominic Wilkins at C tier. Look, if you guys grinded for Grant Hill and you got the card, congrats, man. You got a C tier endgame and invincible card. That's where he belongs. I don't know what else there is to say. C tier is not bad, though. You got Ben Simmons, Cade Cunningham. I mean, C tier is really solid in general. Hakeem Elijah one up next. Another B tier power forward in my team. Again, not bad. But I just think, he doesn't do enough to be any higher in general. I am going to move the better Invincible Ben up a tier just because I think he gives you that little bit more. But I like Hakeem. He does give you that the decent release, the Gallinari base, which is decent, as well as just having a very solid player model and player build. Ja Morant, our first F Invincible point guard. That's not me sitting here saying Ja is horrible. He's usable. There's just way better options than Ja Morant. If you want to use the card for fun, do what you got to do. He's just not great. Endgame James Harden up next. We're going B tier for Endgame James Harden. A very solid overall card in my team. Is he worth the long grind and domination? No. But if you did get him, he can move well. His release is solid. Just a very good overall card in my team. Jerry West, the opposite of good. The card is horrible. He is F tier. There's nothing good about Jerry West. He's the logo, but that's it. I mean, the card stinks in my team. I just don't even know what else to say about Jerry West. The card is a bona fide scrub that cannot play. Joel Embiid up next. I'm going C tier. Yes, I'm higher on Giannis, higher on D-Rob, higher on Hakeem than Joel Embiid. But again, C tier is solid. If you want to use the cards at C tier, do what you guys have got to do. That doesn't mean the card is necessarily bad. Endgame JR, Invincible JR. I'm going to go Invincible JR at C tier. Endgame JR at B tier. Here's the deal. Okay, J.R. Smith, I like the jump shot 49. Objectively though, at least on current gen specifically, jump shot 3 is better. Jump shot 3 is really good on current gen. The more I've used it, the more I've gotten the hang of it, and man, let me tell you guys, base 3 is a really, really good release. I haven't really used Endgame JR too much, but I just kind of know what you kind of know what you're getting. Dr. J up next. I gotta go C tier because he does have a decent release, but I mean, Dr. J is the definition of mid. And I guess C tier is the definition of mid in general. But man, if you locked in tokens for him, you got a decent enough shooting guard. But that's about all you're getting out of the card. Center power forward Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is S tier. The best power forward in my team. And I don't think it's particularly close. Now, we're probably going to have 10 or so players in S tier, so just keep that in the back of your mind. You know, we have 90 or so players in this list. So, yes, S tier is going to be pretty full. Point guard Reem, he's pretty comparable to Giannis, right? Obviously, going to come with jump shot 3. Giannis is going to move just a little bit better. Kareem's going to have that little bit better player model, player build. They're both very, very, very solid at that point guard position. Invincible Reem is still really good. I mean, that's the hard part is I'm still taking Invincible Kareem over AD, D-Rob, Hakeem. And so at the power forward position, he still is A tier. You guys don't have to agree with me, but I am pretty firm on where I have Kareem. I absolutely am in love with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This Kareem, I'm still going A tier. I'm sorry, again, you guys don't have to agree with me, but I do love Kareem quite a bit in my team. Next up, guys, we do see Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard with jump shot 3 is really good. He's just not as good as this Kawhi. I mean, it's that simple. Invincible Kawhi is better than Endgame Kawhi. I'm going to put this shooting guard small forward one right with this one. This Invincible point guard Kawhi, if you do like playing him at the 2 or even at the 1, he's going to move really well. Going to have the Kawhi Leonard base, which I personally like more on Kawhi than jump shot 3, or the Ray Allen base, I should say, which I like more than jump shot 3 for Kawhi Leonard specifically. I'm in love with the card. I mean, obviously you guys can make the case that the endgame Kawhi is better. I just have a hard time believing that. Invincible KD up next. I don't love this KD card. I just don't. This KD is fine, but the problem is all the rest of these KDs are better. And so that's the real struggle. Now, start with this KD. Shooting guard, small forward KD, maybe the best small forward in the entire game. Point guard, small forward KD, we're going A tier with. Last, certainly not least, the shooting guard KD, I'm going to go B tier with. So you guys see it. Invincible small forward, power forward, C tier. Invincible shooting guard, B tier. Then we do see the point guard endgame KD, A tier, and then the shooting guard or small forward shooting guard KD at S tier. Straight shot there from C tier through A tier. You guys can see where we are at. KG up next, not very good. Gonna go D tier again. KG is pretty similar to AD. Outside of the fact that AD is going to have a better release, better jump shot, KG maybe a little longer in lanes. It's pretty self-explanatory. Neither of those cards are great, neither is Clay. Clay, another D tier player. You guys can love Clay all you want. I just do not think the card is great in my team. Next, we get our Kobe's. Shooting guard, point guard, Kobe, C tier. Right there with J.R. Smith. Debate a wall, I don't care. Shooting guard, small forward, Kobe, again, C tier. Debate a wall if you want to, I don't care. Endgame, Kobe Bryant. Here's the tough part. Endgame Kobe on current gen is a top 2 point guard in the game, in my opinion. Endgame Kobe on next gen might not even be top 5. And so that's the tough part. Right now, I'm putting him at A tier. We might move some players around, though. But I mean, again, if you're on current gen, Kobe Bryant is definitely the man with the plan. Endgame KP is really, really, really good in my team. So good that, I mean, I'd lean S tier. No, again, we'll have to wait and see exactly who my centers are and where they are at on this as well. But, I mean, I do like jump shot 3, base 3 quite a bit. So I am going to put KP all the way up to S tier. Invincible KP is still really good. We're going to go A tier with him. I use Invincible KP quite a bit. Release isn't great. It's just okay, I would say. But, man, KP in general, because he is 7'3", is just an absolute cheese ball. Here's the problem I got, right? On current gen, I'm taking Kobe over LaMelo. On current gen and next gen combined, I'm probably taking LaMelo Ball. And so that's kind of the tough part. I mean, between those cards, it really is preference. They're going to play similar. Outside of LaMelo is going to be a little bit taller. Kobe's going to move that a little bit better. It's preference based. I think as an overall player on both gens, though, I would lean LaMelo Ball. Invincible LaMelo is not great, though. I'm going to put him at C tier. He's just not great. He's long, he's lengthy, but that's about all he gives you on the court. His release is okay. But after compared him to the end game, he's just not great. Small forward, power forward, Bron, D tier. I mean, part of me wants to put him at F tier, but you got to realize, right? Bron is not that bad. He's not F tier. An F tier Bron is this power forward center Bron. I don't care. There's no reason to play LeBron at the power forward position. That just doesn't make sense to me. Shooting guard, small forward Bron, I guess C tier. Again, I don't love the card, but I respect him enough probably to put him at C tier. Then we get the fun LeBron Jameses. The good LeBron Jameses in my team. Okay? Point guard Bron, we're putting in A tier. Shoe, small forward, power forward Bron, we're putting in S tier. Why? Well, here's the deal. We can only have 2 point guards, so there's no reason to run him. Where LeBron is flexible, can play that small forward position, can move KD to that too, can just do a little more things with that. I do love LeBron's endgame small forward card. I think with set shot 25, he gives you a lot on the court with the defensive player model. It's just tough to find another spot for him. Invincible Luka Doncic. Here's the deal, guys. This Luka Doncic, there's literally never going to be a reason you run him. I'm going to throw him at A tier. I mean, he's still top of the top, but no reason to run him with this Invincible Luka or even the other Luka with like 55 or 60 Hall of Famers. This Luka definitely S tier. Other 2 Lukas are good still, guys. I mean, these 2 Lukas are good. Problem is, they're just not great. They're both A tier cards in my team. And again, you guys can hate me if you want, but it's the way it is. I'm taking this Invincible Luka as the best Luka, and that's why he's up there at S tier, with the other Lukas all being at A tier. Magic Johnson is the definition of mid. I'm putting him at C tier, and until somebody can show me something with Magic Johnson, nobody is changing my mind. I stand firm on this, that Magic Johnson is the worst endgame card in the game, and it's not particularly close. Manu Ginobili is okay, but he is still at C tier. Like, Manu is okay, right? He's the definition of mid, I would say, but he's just not great in my team. Mark Eaton, I know a lot of people love Mark Eaton. I'll go B tier with him. The reason he's not higher is because, I mean, his release is not great. And when you do compare him to a guy like Invincible Kareem or even an Invincible KP, it's hard for me to sit up here with a straight face and tell you that Mark Eaton's better than those guys. Because I just simply put, do not believe it. If he had a better release, maybe I'd be a little higher on him, but that is a problem. Here's the thing with Michael Jordan. These Michael Jordan cards are good. Like, I used this shooting guard small forward MJ for a while. And set shot 25 on this MJ was tough with the way he moved. But I'm going to go A tier with him. Going to go A tier with that MJ. Going to go A tier with the shooting guard small forward MJ. I mean, because I only can have one at S tier. And then the point guard MJ has to go into S tier, which ultimately is going to move LaMelo Ball down. Look, you can only have 10 players at S tier, so you got to kind of be pretty picky. And it is what it is. I'm taking Invincible point guard MJ over any other MJ. You guys can argue end games are better. I'll listen to it, but I just certainly do not believe that to be true. Yao Ming's up next. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You need Yao Ming on your team. Same thing with Taco Fall. So I guess Yao goes into S tier endgame card. Invincible goes into A tier. Might as well throw Taco up where he deserves or where he belongs at this point. Endgame Taco, we all know, is going to S tier. Invincible Taco is still at A tier. One thing I will say is that Invincible Taco Fall with his release, same thing with Yao, are still really good. They still got really good releases. Still can play at an extremely high level. So right now, I have 10 players in S tier. Are these going to be the final 10? I guess it's what we're waiting to see. Invincible Jokic is not great. I'm throwing him at B tier. I mean, I've used this Jokic card plenty, and I just don't see what everybody else sees with him. I mean, he's fine. He's okay to use, but he is not an A tier point guard. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. Pau Gasol is horrible. I'm throwing him at F tier. I don't see any reason to run set shot 16 Pau Gasol. It just doesn't make sense. Why would you run that card when there are so many other better options at this stage in my team? Paul George, He's fine. Similar to LeBron James, right? I mean, I like Paul George's release more. Bron's going to give you some things on the court. Both 6'9", give you something at the small shooting guard small forward, but neither of them are great. Invincible Penny at this stage is C tier. He still dribbles extremely well, still has good dunk animation, stuff like that. There's certain people that run Penny Hardaway on their best squad still to this day. I'm just not one of those people. Pistol P Maravich up next, he's D tier. Now, he can be fun to use. I think his release is super easy to time and super easy to green. He's just 6'5", not a great player model, not a great player build. Just pretty limited in what he can do, and so is Robert Horry. Robert Horry is not good in my team, and I don't care who you are. If you're using Robert Horry, something might be wrong with you. I mean, seriously, the card should not play. Scotty Barnes up next. As much as I want to be higher on Scotty Barnes, he's B tier. I mean, who am I taking, him or Chris Webber? I'm probably taking Chris Webber. Scotty Barnes' player model is just not great in my team, and I'm taking every Kawhi Leonard over Scotty Barnes. Got one line left. Let's go Scottie Pippen up next. Look, man, I probably would go B tier because defensively he's still going to be elite. I wish his release was better. But outside of that, Scottie Pippen defends at a high rate. His movement is solid. Kobe's size of escape. He does do a lot for you. Now we got a bunch of Invincible Shaqs with the endgame Shaqs. Invincible Shaqs, I'm putting at C tier. I mean, if you want to put Invincible Shaq higher, be my guest. I just think there's a limit on how good he truly can be. Here's the tough thing with Shaq. Is Shaq better than endgame KP or endgame Kareem? I don't think so. Putting him at A tier. I mean, if you're asking me who my top two power forwards are, I think it is Kareem and KP. Shaq is really close there, sitting at A tier. Next up, Steph Curry. He's a garbage man in 2K. He's F tier. Tim Hardaway is F tier. Tim Duncan is D tier. We just got a lot of garbage men coming up. I mean, those cards are absolutely horrible that I did just go through. Now, rumor has it on current gen, the Invincible Tracy McGrady is the best. I will say I have a hard time believing that, man. This Tracy McGrady I do think is the best, the shooting guard small forward one. I'm going to put him at A tier. Shooting guard, point guard one, A tier. Still, I'm going to put Invincible T-Mac at S tier. Now, whether it's this T-Mac or the other T-Mac, both T-Macs are good. The point guard T-Mac, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the point guard eligible Invincible T-Mac at S tier. The Invincible T-Mac is going to come down here to B tier with the Invincible Kevin Durant. I feel like this is the most fair. You know, the Invincible point guard T-Mac is going to give you a little bit more on the court. We do got two guys left, Invincible Vince as well as Invincible Wilt. With Vince, D tier. I mean, I know I like Vince's release, but he doesn't do enough on the court outside of that to put him any higher. For Wilt Chamberlain, I'm going B tier. And I know a lot of people might want Wilt higher. I just don't see it. Wilt is not as good as any of these power forwards I have at A tier. Disagree if you want, but that is my firm opinion on things. We went through 90 to 100 players, like 95 players really quickly, but again, guys, this video should be pretty quick. A lot of these cards are repetitive. They're the same cards, and so it should not take me a long time to get through them. I want to know your thoughts down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.